Press releases are one of the most talked about PR tools, but are they actually helpful and useful for small businesses or personal brands? In this video today, I'm going to break down what is a press release, when you should and shouldn't use one, and what to include when you do. If you are trying to get media attention for your small brand, your product company, your personal brand, this video is for you. Now, here at Visibility on Purpose, and by the way, my name is Bridget Aileen Cisco. I'm a co-founder of Visibility on Purpose. We help small business owners, product companies, and personal brands get featured in the media through implementing their own PR strategies. So if you have a small business or a CPG brand or a personal brand where you sell services, this is for you. Now, one of the biggest things that we get asked at Visibility and Purpose is, okay, how do I do a press release? Like, what should I do? And I want to be very honest and clear about when to use a press release and when not to. So, first and foremost, what is a press release? And I studied digital communications at Rutgers University, and one of the things that we learned about was a press release. Now, at the time when we were learning about this is back in 2013, 2012. So, yes, we had Instagram at the time, but we weren't using it for brands like we do now. So when I learned about what a press release was, it was really more in that traditional sense. And a press release is informational. It is a formal announcement that is sent to media outlets to share newsworthy information. And journalists or writers use press releases to gather facts and information quickly so they can cover a story, they can write a story, and they can put it out, put that content out to their audience. Now, when it comes to a small personal brand, a product company, there are moments to use this and not use this. But the thing is, where I believe a lot of small business owners get wrong is they think that everything they're doing is newsworthy. And that's just not the truth. It's not the truth yet. Right? We always say that here, Visibility and Purpose, yet. What you're doing is amazing. I'm sure you started your business for a really, really incredible reason, but we have to be honest with ourselves about what do people actually want to learn about? What do people actually want to talk about? So the key purpose of a press release is to inform, educate the media about something new and significant. Maybe it's something that's trending. Maybe there's a new product launch. And it also encourages journalists to write about your announcement. But you have to understand that not every press release is going to get picked up by the media. So here are two examples of really good uses of a press release. So say you have a tech startup and you are announcing a funding round or a major product launch, and maybe there's a writer at a magazine or outlet like TechCrunch, and they come across this press release. This is actually going to help them maybe put together a story on your major product launch or funding round. Maybe you also are a company revealing a huge partnership. So this does happen in not only the tech space, but maybe, okay, here's a great example of this. Poppy, that great prebiotic, probiotic soda company, was just acquired by Pepsi. So obviously there's going to be a press release on that. And then you have media outlets, writers, and journalists writing content directly from that press release sent by the company. So it's company specific information. It's informational. Okay. And it's letting the media know, hey, there's this thing happening. Do you want to cover it? So if you have a big partnership, if there's a big award, if there's a big event happening, that could be a time where a press release is super helpful. Now, when to not use a press release? So press releases are really not great for personal brand milestones. And a lot of you here likely have a personal brand. You might have even started it on Instagram, and you are a life coach, a health coach, a practitioner, and it's not always the best place to be using a press release, which is why we really teach a curated media outreach strategy where you are going to reach out directly to the writers and share interesting information. You're going to share something about yourself and give them a different angle to write on, because it's not just that you launched a website or you started your business or you wrote a book, right? Because there are thousands of books that come out every single day. Many businesses started, that's not newsworthy enough, to be honest. And media outlets are usually not covering personal wins. And this has to, let's zoom out for a moment. So how does the media work? How does this synergistic relationship between experts and sources, which are people like you or brands like you, and the media? So Writers at big magazines say they work for Vogue or Condé Nast or Refinery 29, whether they're staff or freelancer. They are tasked with writing certain stories that would be useful, interesting, informative for their audience. So, you starting a business is not necessarily like super helpful for their audience, but there's always creative ways that you can spin the story. And I have recorded many videos on how to be newsworthy and different story angle ideas. So go take a look at some of the other videos that we have on this channel because it's really helpful and really informative. So what else doesn't work? Small product launches. Unless your product is truly, truly innovative. And again, press releases are hard if your company isn't well known yet because the media is more likely to cover, Poppy soda, or you have Olipop or Chameleon Coffee, or some of these brands that are already in stores versus you are a new CPG brand and maybe you put out a press release, but it just doesn't guarantee that it's going to be picked up by the media. And again, unless it's truly innovative and you're really spinning something that's already really well known, maybe you have like this whole, okay, for instance, like when I was pregnant, I was looking into decaf coffee alternatives, and then I like went down this rabbit hole of understanding that decaf coffee, the processing of it can sometimes be really unhealthy. So then I found this like Swiss water, I don't even know how to say the thing, coffee. So if you are doing something different, but you tag onto something that's already known, that could be a way that maybe a press release could work for you. So again, unless your product is truly and your launch is truly innovative, a new product alone does not interest most journalists. It's just truth be told, and that's okay. It's totally okay. Now, another moment where this is not going to be helpful to use a press release is if it's just like basic news. If it's not time sensitive, a press release probably isn't your best bet because media prefers like exclusive, timely, unique stories that they can be sharing with what people want to know about like now. So, if you are any of those things, like personal brand, small product launch, something that's not really timely, here's what we'd recommend. And again, we have so many videos on this. This is exactly what our DIY PR program is about. So, go check the link below to learn more about that. But this is where a personal pitch really comes in, where you are explaining to journalists directly why your story matters. And again, they get a lot of pitches a day, so it needs to be something interesting. And you're shooting your shot. Maybe even utilizing social media PR where you're going to connect with writers on Twitter, X, whatever it's called, LinkedIn, Instagram. Writers are real people too. And a lot of times they will put a call out for sources and experts directly on their socials or even on their Substack. So get on a writer Substack if you're interested in learning more about what they write about. And that's going to be an important piece. Like, how can you personalize your pitch based on what that person's actually already writing about? Now, also guest features. So, this is why we really, really drive home getting media mentions using platforms like Quoted or Source of Sources. I've done so many videos on that featured and getting yourself to be a guest on podcasts. If you are a personal brand and a small product brand, like a new CPG brand, get yourself on some podcasts. Get yourself on some podcasts. Not only is it a fun way to share your story and share your expertise, but it is long form content and that builds trust. No like and trust factor. Think about the people I'm a podcast junkie. I love podcasts. Now I have little babe with me on my walks with the dog. I'm always listening to a podcast. I want to learn something. And, now with a baby, I don't have my hands all the time. I'm breastfeeding. I don't have my hands to just like read a book in the morning. So podcasts are my go-to way to get information. Podcasts and YouTube, honestly. I'm, recording this for YouTube and our podcast and just regular podcasts. So those are a great source of information. And if you are a business owner, you're really missing out if you have not leveraged being a guest on podcasts. And again, we teach you all of this inside our program. Now, here is my last piece of this today. So, what should you actually include in a press release? And I'm just going to go over like 5 elements. So, number 1, you really want to have a clear, attention grabbing headline. Like, what are you doing? What's interesting? And what's going to grab someone's attention? And we talk about this a lot with like subject lines. So, if you're sending out curated email pitches, what's your subject line? Similarly to a strong press release, you're going to have a clear attention grabbing headline, something that people are going to be interested in, and not just people here, journalists and writers. Now you're going to have a strong lead paragraph where you talk about these 5 things: who, what, where, when, and why. Who, what, when, where, and why. Then you can also include some compelling quotes or even some statistics. I always think that that's helpful. I'm a big like stats girl, so if you have, some background or evidence to prove your point or to share in that press release of like some noteworthy statistics of what's going well, how many products have you sold already? Are you in major retailers? Just like little things like that are going to be helpful in that press release. Now, other key details that make it newsworthy, so that would be step 4 here, key details that make it newsworthy. Why is this interesting? And again, link this into what's going on in the world. Link it to what's going on in the world. And a press release should be very factual. It's information based. It's not really you saying like this is the best thing around. It's saying why is it the best thing around? Proving your point is really what you're doing here. And last but not least, you want to have some contact information so that journalists can follow up if they're interested in your story. Now, reminders, keep it simple. We don't want this to be more than a page. Keep it to the point. You can send these out through the wire, and that would syndicate to many platforms where journalists can pick up this story. So there's that. We have 5 elements of a strong press release. We have when and when not to use a press release. We have what is a press release. And at the end of the day, should you use a press release? Honestly, only if you have a newsworthy story. Otherwise, focus on direct media outreach, focus on social media connections and really building that thought leadership platform and authority, and focus on storytelling. These are things that you can do right now, even if you're not poppy yet. So if you want more DIY PR tips, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment with your biggest PR questions. I'd love to create more videos based on the biggest questions that you have. See you next time on Visibility Era, the podcast. Have a beautiful day.